There was a monk who built the same wall 3 times, not because he was foolish, not because he forgot, but because each time it fell, the men around him laughed, and he needed to understand why he kept building it anyway. His name was Rio, and what he discovered in the rubble of that third collapse changed the way he lived for the rest of his life. If you have ever had something fall apart, something you gave everything to, stay with this story, because Rio was not special. He was not gifted. He was just a man who learned something most people never do. Rio entered the monastery at 17. Thin, quiet, the kind of boy who watched more than he spoke. The old master gave him one task in his first year: build a stone wall along the eastern garden. No instructions, no help, just a pile of rough stones and the expectation that he would figure it out. He spent 4 months on it. Every morning before the other monks woke, he was already in the garden, turning stones, fitting edges, studying how weight settled on weight. By autumn, the wall stood almost 2 meters tall, clean, proud, his. The first winter storm took it down in a night. He stood in the wreckage the next morning and felt something he could not name. Not sadness exactly, closer to shame, because he had been certain, and the wall had no interest in his certainty. The master walked past, looked at the fallen stones, and said nothing. That silence stayed with Rio longer than any words would have. He built it again. This time he was careful in ways he had not been before, studying the ground beneath the stones, learning which rocks were false in their weight, which ones carried the load honestly. The second wall was better, stronger. He was proud of it in a quieter, more careful way. It stood for 2 years. Then the earth shifted, a minor tremor, nothing the other buildings noticed, and a section of the wall folded sideways and fell. This time, the younger monks laughed. Not cruelly, just the way young men do when something that once seemed impressive breaks. The monk who cannot keep a wall standing. He heard it in the dining hall. He pretended not to. That night, he sat with the master and told him he was thinking about stopping, that perhaps stone walls were not his work, that perhaps he was wasting the monastery's time. The master poured him tea and asked one question. When the wall fell the first time, what did you learn about the ground? Rio answered. And when it fell the second time, what did you learn about the earth itself? Rio answered again, slowly, because the answer surprised him as he said it. The master nodded. Then the wall has been teaching you. The question is whether you are willing to be taught. He built it a third time, but something was different now, not in his hands, in his mind. He no longer built it to prove something. He built it to understand something. The difference sounds small. It is not small at all. He consulted an older monk who had worked with stone in the mountains before joining the monastery. He studied the drainage of the garden when it rained. He let certain sections sit unfinished for weeks while he watched how the ground moved in different temperatures. The third wall took almost a year. It is still standing. Here is what Rio said about it in his later years. And this is the part most people miss. The first collapse taught me about stone. The second taught me about earth. Neither could have taught me what the third one did, because the third time, I stopped trying to win against the wall. I started trying to understand it. Most of us treat our collapses as failures to escape. We rebuild quickly, frantically, because staying in the rubble feels like weakness. We want to get back to where we were before everything broke. But where we were before is exactly where we were when it broke. Rio did not rebuild to restore what he had lost. He rebuilt to learn what the falling was trying to show him. And that changed everything he touched after. You are not behind because you fell. You are not weak because it hurt. The rubble you are standing in right now is not the end of your story. It is the ground your next chapter is being built on. If you are willing to stop looking away from it and start reading it. Rio built the same wall 3 times, but only one of those walls was built by someone who understood why he was building. The question is not whether you will rebuild. The question is, which version of you does the rebuilding?